The main goal of Pitstop is driver infringement analysis, but there are a couple of important reports you need to run for your vehicles too. So once the vehicle has been downloaded and imported into Pitstop, we go to the Vehicles tab, bring up the vehicle in question, and it's very similar in appearance to the Drivers tab in that you have this scrollable table here with the various columns. Now, if your vehicle has been involved in an incident, the first thing to do is get a download of the tachograph. Now, the news might not be good, but at least you know what that news is. So what we have here in this drop down list is the vehicle speed data graph. So if we select today here, run this, now it's a lot of number crunching here, so it takes a little bit of time to create the graph. But here you have the speed graph. This red line here is the limiter of the vehicle concerned, and just like all the graphs, you can home in an area of interest. If there's been any harsh braking, there will be an annotation on this graph. So at the point of the impact, or whatever it may be, or perhaps the police want to know what speed you're doing at a certain time, it's right here in front of you. Again, if you want to return to the original graph, hold down the left mouse key and drop and drag, and that will take it back, hopefully enough, there we are, to the original graph. Now we just move on to the Reports and Graphs tab. Another important report that the DVSA especially like to see is called the Missing Mileages Report. It's a bit of a misnomer really, that name. It's what it really is driving without a digicard. So if we click that report there, and we'll enter a date, just go back to the vehicles report. We're doing December 2014, so let's take January 14 and let's take, say, 10 weeks and see what we've got there. We've got this infringement tolerance here, which basically means if you've been driving, if we select this for instance 1, that means if you've driven for 1 kilometre or 1 mile, depending on what you've got on the setup tab, which system you're working, imperial or metric, then those instances of driving without a digicard will be ignored. That's basically because you've probably been shunting the vehicle around the yard, and so you don't really want those coming out. Just also remember that on most tabs you have this help information button which you can click, and on there you'll find lots of useful information about the specific tab. So let's run the report and see what we've got. 5 events, 151. These are events that are being reported here. They're a separate activity that are recorded on the tachograph. And I'm just looking down here. Nothing much of interest, so we go back. But if there were, then those would be listed on that particular report. So let's just go back to the Vehicles tab now and our vehicle in question. Now, if you remember, in the first video of Pitstop we were talking about reminders, and this is where you enter your data. So if you want insurance to be if you want to have reminders on your insurance, first we go to the Setup tab and look at insurance. Yes, it's set. I was just checking that it wasn't set to off, so we've got it set to a manual stop, so that needs to be on before you have vehicle reminders for insurance. So we select a date, so let's say the insurance is due on the 20th of June, so we key that in, and then when that becomes due you'll start to get reminded. And if it's a manual stop, that means that you have to tell Pitstop when that reminder has been actioned. And although it's not shown here, this box here, the done box, will be lit up, and you just click that and then you save updates. So you've got quite a few reminders here. You can have reminders for tax, MOT, servicing, safety inspections, and here we've got Lola and Pure. These are just these are manual, or rather user-defined. There we go, user-defined reminders. So they could be absolutely anything you want for that particular vehicle. And so they're the reminders. What else do we need to talk about? Oh yes. Now in these columns here, for instance, you can put in your cost of running the vehicle. So here you can put in the cost of insurance or tax, MOT, servicing, tyres, etc. And these will all come out on various reports and graphs. You can also put in your fuel and AdBlue fuel amounts. So for instance, you put in say 100, hang on, that's the price, we call that 100, and let's say that bought us 90 litres of fuel, and we click save here. Now once you get 3 or more readings of your fuel or AdBlue, then you can start to run reports that calculate the efficiency of your vehicle, miles per gallon, or the number of litres per kilometre, 100 kilometres. And now one important point to remember is, now this is quite sort of labour intensive keying in all of this, but if you receive your fuel receipts from your supplier in spreadsheet form, you can convert them to a comma separated value file, CSV file, and you can import these into Pitstop, and that would automatically populate these fields here. More details can be found in the now legendary Pitstop user guide, and you'll find out how to lay out the CSV file. Just a little bit of manipulation with the original spreadsheet, and this will save you a great deal of time in inputting the values. I know Fords, for instance, they have a fuel module, and this can be used for exactly that purpose. So that just about covers it for the vehicles. Hope you enjoyed these 3 videos, and happy driving. And look, bye for now.